Hey guys, how's it going? Mr. Arnold jumping right back into another History Comes Alive. And for this History Comes Alive, ladies and gents, we're going to be talking about the religion of Islam, guys. And with this religion of Islam, we're also going to be talking about the many Islamic empires that would later arise in the world and take over large portions of that known world, ladies and gents. But we're going to separate this into two. How many? Two distinct segments. The first segment, we're going to go over the basics, the simple things that you need to know whenever we talk about the religion of Islam. Alright, such as maybe the sacred text that Muslims read through, or the geographic location where it's most prevalent and where its origin is. And last but not least, our second segment, ladies and gents, we're going to be talking about the Islamic empires that would later arise in this world and the many achievements that led to one of the greatest golden ages humankind has ever seen. So make sure you guys are taking copious notes and paying attention. There's a lot of great stuff yet to come. Alright guys, Mr. Arnold coming back, and for this segment we're going to be talking about the basics, the simple things you need to keep in mind whenever we talk about this religion called Islam, alright? And there's three things that I'm going to have you guys remember. The first thing that we're going to talk about is geographic location. Where is this religion starting and later expanding into, okay? Because that's going to be one of our big ideas, Islamic expansion. This religion starts in what's called the Arabian Peninsula. Remember what a peninsula is, ladies and gents. It's a big body of land covered by how many sides? I'll give you guys 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. 3 bodies of water. Alright? It's a big piece of land covered by 3 big pieces of water. Alright? 3 sides of water. Now, in the Arabian Peninsula, it's going to really be focused on 2 cities. The city called Mecca and Medina. They're both located in the southwestern part of this Arabian Peninsula, and they're going to be kind of the epicenters where Islam is going to take the center stage. We're going to see lots of Muslims. The first thing that you have to remember is its geographic location. Now, the Arabian Peninsula, ladies and gents, is located in the Middle East. Keep that in mind. And because of this location, we're going to start to see Islam expand down south into North Africa, up into the northwest, into Eastern Europe, as well as Western civilization. And last but not least, it's going to make its way over into Asia, such places like Pakistan and India, and we'll find out later on with the Golden Ages, China as well. So, Islam is going to be one of the most prevalent religions in the world. It's actually second right now. Experts believe that in a couple 20 or 30 years, it could be number 1, the most popular religion in the world. Now, there's a couple cities I want you guys to keep in mind. The first being Mecca. Mecca, again, located on the southwestern part of this Arabian Peninsula. Alright? Mecca is going to be kind of considered to be the center of the Islamic world. When we discuss the 5 pillars here very shortly, you're going to know that people have to make the Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca. Alright? It's also the hometown of one of our ODFPs, Muhammad. Alright? And that takes us to our next segment. Islam, who founded it? How did it start? It started with this guy named Muhammad, who was just an everyday, average merchant living in Mecca, alright? And what happened is, he went to the cave to meditate after very long work days. And when he went to the cave one day, there was an angel called Gabriel that came down and said, you must fulfill the work of God and be the messenger of God. Well, what happens is, Muhammad, growing up in Mecca, he starts toting this new religion, and what do the people think he is? Woo! Crazy! So, they expel him to where? Medina. No. Not that city right up the road. It's Medina. Pronounce it correctly, guys. Alright, so Muhammad goes to Medina. He starts to create a following. People in Mecca still don't take Muhammad that seriously, and over time, Muhammad comes back into his hometown, declares what is called a jihad, a holy war, and takes back Mecca and establishes it as a center of the Islamic world. Now that's one of the basics. Another thing that you have to keep in mind is the 5 pillars, alright? And we're going to add some hand motions. There's 5 of them. The first pillar that you have to remember is that there is one God named Allah. Make a little A with your elbows as well as your hands. Allah. Alright? there's one God, and his name is Allah, and that Muhammad, make it M, is the messenger, like a messenger bird of God. All right, so that's our first pillar, that Allah is the one God, and Muhammad is the messenger of that God, of Allah. All right. Second pillar that we're going to get into is this, that there is no eating or drinking, okay, when the sun is up during the holy month of Ramadan, okay? There is no eating or drinking when the sun is up during the holy month of Ramadan. People must fast. That means to starve themselves or not eat or drink, okay, during the holy month of Ramadan. Next, alms for the poor, all right? That essentially is charity for the poor. So reach into your pocket, all right? Grab some money, some fake money, and go up to a friend and say, here you go, my poor friend, all right? And that's going to be called the alms to the poor. Next, we have 3 out of 5. We're going to go into the Hajj, the pilgrimage, all right? In one's lifetime, you must make the Hajj or pilgrimage to where? Where is Mecca in here? It's that way, to Mecca, or this way, all right? This is Mecca up here, all right? So you have to make the pilgrimage or the Hajj to Mecca in one's lifetime if you're physically or financially able to do so. It is expected. And last but not least, our fifth and final pillar, it's hard to say. Our fifth and final pillar is that you must pray to Mecca 5 times a day. You see how that rhymes? You must pray to Mecca, this way, pray to Mecca 5 times a day. All right, ladies and gents, so keep that in mind. Those are the 5 pillars. So we got the geographic location out of the way. We have the 5 pillars, which is something that you have to remember. Last but not least, the third thing that you have to remember is the sacred text in which Islamic people follow. All right, that text is called the Quran. The Quran, it can be spelled K-O-R-A or Q-U-R-A. But what it is, ladies and gents, it's a sacred text containing stories as well as Islamic law called Sharia, in which they must follow at all times, similar to the 10 Commandments in a lot of ways, okay? It contains Islamic law. So that's all I have for you as far as the basic goes. You have to remember that, okay? In addition to that, I'm going to add one more thing that you have to remember. It just popped up in my head, okay? So make sure you guys are paying attention. One more thing that you got to remember, all right? There are going to be 3 prevalent types of Islamic people or Muslims in the world, okay? The first being Sunni Muslims. They make up 85 to 90% of the Islamic world, all right? And they're direct descendants, or they believe that their caliph, all right, the leader of Islam, all right, should be Abu Bakr, all right, who was basically chosen after Muhammad's death, all right. In Islam, they want a leader called a caliph or khalifa to follow or to basically lead them after Muhammad's death. So they choose Abu Bakr. Now, on the other side of things, that other 15%, all right, they're okay with Abu Bakr and the 2 direct descendants that follow after him, the 2 caliphs that follow after him. But they start to get a little upset because they're starting to think, hey, the caliph should be blood, all right, of who? This guy, Muhammad. So who do they elect? They elect Ali. And because of this, there's going to be a split, like what we've seen in Christianity with the Great Schism, ladies and gents, okay? There's going to be a split. So we have 85 to 90% of the Islamic world being Sunni Muslims, while as 15% are Shiite Muslims, okay? Shiite Muslims. There's also Sufi mystic Muslims. We're not going to really get into that because it's more AP global stuff that you guys got to keep in mind. But keep in mind the split between. So there are 4 things that you should remember. First, geographic location. 2, 5 pillars of Islam. And if you want to be too cool for school, well, you don't have to remember the hand motions, but they will help you out whenever you are going to be asked about or assessed on it. So we have those 2. We also have the Quran as well as the Islamic law that's contained in it, Sharia. And last but not least, do not forget basically the 2 most prevalent types of Islamic peoples. All right. So that's all I have for you for basics. Let's jump into our next segment dealing with the Islamic Golden Age. What's up, guys? How's it going? Mr. Arnold coming back in for this 3rd and final segment. We are going to be looking at the Islamic Golden Age, guys. And we're going to talk about some important big ideas that kind of correlate to the Golden Ages of Islam. The first being this, that with other Golden Ages that we've looked at, one of the key themes is expansion of this empire, right? Over the course of the Islamic Golden Age, we're going to start to see expansion build up. can go out to Europe, down in North Africa, and over into Asia, guys. And with this expansion, we're also going to start to see the influence of Islam start to spread out of the Middle East, the Arabian Peninsula, and into these places that were just mentioned, okay? So that's going to be one of our biggest ideas, is that expansion. Now, whenever we talk about expansion within the Islamic empires, the Golden Ages specifically, there's going to be a lot of this being made, a lot of cha-ching, moolah, all right? A lot of trade is going to be happening, ladies and gents, and because of that trade, merchants are going to flourish, and cities like Mecca are going to arise and become worldly centers for people to bounce ideas off each other, such as places like Baghdad, all right? With the House of Wisdom, we're going to have certain people like non-Muslims and Muslims getting together and sharing intellectual thoughts, and really bettering humankind. Now that we have expansion out of the way, let's get into specific achievements. The first specific achievement I want to get into is architecture, Islamic architecture. They're going to be noted for this dome concept, in which they kind of perfect from the arches and domes of the Roman Empire, all right, guys? And we're going to start to see this influence take shape all over the world, all right? Most notably, the one example that you can take from Islamic architecture is the Dome of the Rock, which is located in Jerusalem, guys. With this Dome of the Rock, ladies and gents, the dome is going to be something that's going to kind of pop up throughout humankind. Because of this Dome of the Rock, we're going to start to see influences maybe with the Capitol Hill, all right, with the dome at Capitol Hill, or maybe the Taj Mahal in India with that dome. Now, in addition to that, Islamic Golden Age is also going to be synonymous with algebra. Alright, a lot of you guys are taking algebra or pre-algebra. Well, when you walk to class, you can thank the Islamic people or the Islamic empires, because during that time, science and math really flourished, right? And with science, we start to see advancements in basically medicine, alright? The canon of medicine, or the canon of medicine, is an encyclopedia, ladies and gents, for cures of diseases, alright? Remember, what's going on in Europe at this time is there's lots of people that are dying at a very young age. Well, down south, the southeast per se, in these Islamic empires, there's starting to be advancements taking place within the medical fields, which is leading to a longer life expectancy, alright? So those are a couple of the achievements that are going to be synonymous with the Islamic Golden Ages. Do not forget architecture, math and science, as well as expansion and its role in the Islamic Golden Ages. Alright? We're also going to see, because of that expansion and trade, a lot of cultural diffusion. As I mentioned earlier, certain cities are going to really pop up. We have Mecca, we have Baghdad, we have Damascus, all throughout, and we're going to start to see lots of cultural diffusion between people who reside in Africa as well as Western civilization in Europe, and last but not least, Asia with Chinese dynasties and Indian empires. Alright guys, that's all I have for you for today's video. I hope it really helped you guys. If you want to, please feel free to like or comment. I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. But good luck, and I'll see you guys next time.